We are so glad to have your company tonight, joining you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali. My name is Sam Kalisa. And as we begin of our tonight's edition, as a CHOGM meeting concluded, various heads of state and their aides, heads of institutions and international organizations held Rwanda's exceptional execution of the 2022 Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, CHOGM. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau shared a rundown of the work done while at the meeting and the task of the participants who attended in Kigali, plus the implementation strategy of the agreed resolutions. The Minister of State for Foreign Affairs and former Foreign Affairs Minister of Pakistan said her country's delegation left Rwanda after the bilateral meetings and many sessions on the CHOGM agenda, which most remarkable takeaways which was seeing how a healing leadership can transform a nation. She also thanked President Paul Kagame for the good leadership in Rwanda and setting an example for other leaders. And Uganda's President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni also attending the closing ceremony of CHOGM meeting returned home using the Katuna border. He thanked Rwanda brothers and sisters not only for their warm welcome during his stay in Rwanda, but also as he returned from Kigali to Katuna. He concluded with words, "Thank you very much. Let love prevail," expressed in Kinyarwanda. Zambian President Hakainde Hichilema also wrote his sentiments in Kinyarwanda, saying, "Thank you, Rwanda. It was an honor for us to be in Rwanda, to interact with others from the Commonwealth family," adding, "Congratulations, brother President Paul Kagame. Rwanda hosted a successful CHOGM 2022. Zambia's First Lady also added that it was a wonderful visit to the land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda, and that she is inspired by so much of what she saw in the country. She thanked President Paul Kagame, his wife Jeanette Kagame, and the people of Rwanda for the warm hospitality. The Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson, said it was a fantastic few days in Kigali, that it is now the time for the Commonwealth to boost trade and investment, drive forward the green industrial revolution. The President of the United Nations General Assembly, Abdullah Shahid, wrote in Kinyarwanda saying, "Thank you very much. It was a very successful visit to Kigali. The talks with the leaders of Rwanda and representatives of civil society, unforgettable visit." While concluding the CHOGM meeting, President Paul Kagame expressed his deep gratitude to everyone involved in its preparations, the security services who made every effort to ensure that safety for all is maintained, and all other stakeholders in various activities of the CHOGM, plus all Rwandans who helped make the conference a success, saying, "Thank you immensely for doing the country proud." He thanked 4,000 participants who joined CHOGM 2022, adding that it was an honor to host all leaders in Rwanda to reaffirm the united resolve to deliver prosperous, dignified future for the citizens of the Commonwealth family. He ended by wishing everyone a safe trip home. The Commonwealth Secretary General, Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, also expressed her heartfelt thanks to President Paul Kagame, Rwandan government, the people of Rwanda, the Commonwealth team, and the entire Commonwealth family for the outstanding commitment which made this year's CHOGM go successful. Many have reiterated that the CHOGM meeting in Kigali was a success, including a journalist in Uganda, Daniel Lutaya, who wrote, "Thank you, Kigali, from myself and the whole team," adding in Kinyarwanda, "May a peace of God prevail with you." And as we move ahead to other matters still related to the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, on Saturday, Sustainable Growers joined Her Excellency Jeanette Kagame, First Lady of the Republic of Rwanda, in hosting the first ever coffee masterclass for spouses of the dignitaries of Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting at the Kigali Cultural and Exhibition Village. Also in attendance was Her Excellency Arya Ali, the First Lady of Guyana, who was the youngest First Lady to attend the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. My colleague Isabel Masozera spoke to the First Lady about what her visit to Rwanda has brought her.
You are the youngest First Lady visiting Rwanda for the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. I want to know, coming to a country that prioritizes women in leadership and is really pushing for women empowerment, how has your experience been like, and what does it mean to you to be here right now?
What I've learned here so far has been very inspiring, and it has connected me to somewhat from back home. I feel like I can take away many lessons learned here from Her Excellency, the First Lady of Rwanda. I feel not just being the youngest First Lady rather, I feel more like it's a learning experience from me to learn from her, and I feel as though I can take back many lessons, one which is to transform our women and empower our women through education, and it's definitely something I can take home with me.
Any special message for some young ladies out there in the world that someday want to be just like you?
Anybody can make a difference, and I empower young girls to stay in school and to keep education on top on the agenda, and we will go many places, far places.
The Rwanda's Private Sector Federation points out that every effort has been made to ensure that the benefits of hosting the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting reach everyone in the sector effectively. As Olive Nete reports, various traders and service providers note that it was a great opportunity for them to generate income. We have more.
Uwanyuze Alice Tumine is a trader in Kigali city. She's content about the fact that the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting was a great opportunity for them to sell various goods and services.
We got clients from different places, from different countries. They were expecting to experience our local food. So my restaurant A to Z deals in its speciality is local food. We cook food without cooking oil. We don't fry. We have natural food. We cook organic food. So people were very excited to have food like that around. So we even got some contacts from different people who were actually asking if we can ever happen to invest such kind of a restaurant in their countries.
The chairman of the Rwanda's Private Sector Federation, Robert Bafakurera, points out that every person in the private sector benefited from the meeting.
All our visitors were happy, comments were good, and we are hoping that this will be a foundation. This CHOGM has left a lot of money, particularly in the tourism sector. There was a lot of networking, business to business. We are hoping that this will increase the relationship Rwandese and other people in the world, in Commonwealth.
The head of the organizing committee that was in charge of planning the meeting, Clementine Mukeka, who is also the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, points out that guests enjoyed their stay in Rwanda, stressing that outcomes were remarkable and that were shared among the business sector.
We just had a successful Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. The delegates really enjoyed Kigali. They were amazed how the country is well organized, clean, modern, dynamic, and I believe CHOGM has been successfully delivered to the highest standards expected. I'm really proud of the whole entire organization team from the task force that has been put in place. I believe CHOGM has benefited a lot for the countries. Everyone was really involved. The private sector, the hostel were fully booked. The transport company, from the tourism sector as well, the restaurant, the taxi drivers, and the whole value chain, the service industry has benefited a lot from all those delegates in town, and I believe it's something that we are really proud of.
This was the 26th Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, and it was attended by over 4,000 people from various countries, including 25 heads of state and government. It is the 6th time that it has been hosted by an African country. Olive Nete, RwandaTV News.
Thank you very much, Olive. We are still on matters related to the just concluded Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, and nowhere we can go without talking about security, which makes everything happen. President Paul Kagame has tweeted his gratitude to the country's security organs for the work they did during the just concluded Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting 2022 that was just concluded here in Rwanda, as well as others who ensured that everything went well. We do have more.
When Rwanda was first chosen to host the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting, the task seemed to be too grand for some. I honestly did not think it was possible, not something of that magnitude, at least according to what I had heard about it. Add the fact that it had been many years since Africa had last hosted it. What happened was a miracle from God. He used our president to put Rwanda on the map, and now the whole world knows about us. Other Kigali residents we spoke to particularly commended the security organs that helped to make the event a major success. And visitors were also impressed by how Rwandans received them.
Then the people are very polite. In fact, too polite. So polite. It's like, are you really African? The security is there anything like over perfect? It's perfect. It's very secured. You feel very safe. You know, I've been walking around. I've had to walk from this hotel to the other hotel, and the security is perfect.
That's what I would say. They did a fantastic job. The security was there, but it wasn't frustrating for us. You know, there's a way in which security can be in a place and it begins to get to you. That, look, what is all of this? But it wasn't there. The people were very nice. The people were polite. I'll give you an example, which impressed me a lot. We were leaving the Camp Kigali, going to Rose Garden, where I parked my car. And the man told me I needed a card to tap. I said I didn't have it. A policeman, he put two of us in a bus alone, took us to M Hotel, took us onto the 3rd floor. We got our card, brought us back, and dropped us in Rose Garden. I mean, we only told him to drop us there, but he went over and beyond. This is a policeman we've never met before, so we were very, very impressed.
President Paul Kagame also tweeted his gratitude to the security organs and others that helped to make CHOGM a success, saying they had made the country proud. The next gathering will take place in 2 years on the island nation of Samoa in the South Pacific.
Indeed, many salutes to the Rwanda's security organs for ensuring safety of all delegates of the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting. And as we conclude, during the Commonwealth Business Forum last week, delegates attended a roundtable session on accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. Access to funding was one of the challenges raised during the leadership think tank. RB's Isabel Masozera caught up with Victoria's Sabula, the Chief Executive Officer of Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund, to better understand the barriers to energy finance in the sub-Saharan Africa.
It is day 2 here at the Business Forum, and it's a pleasure to bring you yet another conversation. This one is on accelerating the transition to sustainable energy. That has been the conversation this morning, and I'm delighted to be speaking to Victoria Sabula, who is the CEO, Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund, Kenya. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you very much.
One of the things that stood out was the fact that we need to make sure that local innovators in the field of sustainable energy can have access to funding. What is the solution? What can we do to change that?
Being in a developed country or being in sub-Saharan Africa is tough for entrepreneurs and innovators for the reason that they are in countries that actually are overrepresented in the risky category. Investors are very shy to invest. We are having countries that are a CCC rating that is totally way, beyond what institutional investors, private sector investors in the debt part would be willing to take on, right? It is beyond their fiduciary mandate. The reality really is that financing that is appropriate for small, medium enterprises continues to be scarce. we need to find more partners that are willing to come in and invest on SMEs, possibly say bank on SMEs and give up a bit of the returns that you're seeking for the sake of the objectives that we have in getting energy to be available to everybody.
The thing that stood out for me was a very strong point that was made, somebody saying, cut the developing countries some slack. What can they do to position themselves to be investment worthy?
You know, I think as I mentioned earlier in the panel, some people have argued that this clean energy conversation can sometimes be a pretense game where Sub-Saharan Africa governments are pretending to actually really want to go green, yet possibly behind the scenes they know it is impossible to go green and achieve the level of industrialization that is necessary for rapid economic growth. And then you have the developed countries who continually offer pledges. They pledge millions of dollars, billions of dollars. Follow through and see how much of those resources are finding themselves in the hands of enterprises in Sub-Sahara, and it will be a dot. So the pledges that we make come also with conditionalities and terms that are inappropriate for the continent, for the type of entrepreneur, for the risk levels that are in the country. I think, though, that it is a wake-up call to Sub-Sahara governments for them to realize that your own innovators, your own private sector, it is you to create that environment that powers them.
Highlight some of the challenges that you have faced in terms of working with some of the local innovators.
It's hard work. I'm hoping that more people can realize that we cannot continually say we need pipeline, we desire pipeline. Pipeline requires to be created, so more people need to risk a bit of their capital to build the businesses of tomorrow so that we will have sufficient businesses to absorb this capital that is being made available today by the different, developed countries, the DFIs and all that.
Take the risk. Take the risk.
You asked another question around the challenges. I really see, and I say this with all due respect to all of the businesses that work so hard to present solutions to rural households. But sometimes there's a naivety on the part of the private sector businesses that are still small. They think that it's okay to just present your financials in a way that they understand, not a way that the investor will understand. So we need to meet to have our businesses to move into a level of sophistication that allows for the investors to also have the confidence.
You said investors invest in the entrepreneur. What is the one thing or the two things that they must not forget, they must do in order to secure the bag?
To every entrepreneur, innovator who is today trying to navigate the Sub-Sahara space very specifically, do not give up. Do your part. Understand the opportunity that exists for you. Be intentional about the type of capital that you take on, because some of it may not necessarily be good for your business. So take time to understand your potential sources of funding, how to go after them, and how the investor, the financier, fits into your organization, what you're seeking to build, so that it actually is a great partnership that will see you indeed leap onto the next level. Capital is great, but not necessarily every capital that is made available.
Rwanda and Mauritius have pledged to continue to work together to improve the living conditions of the people, including providing them with access to electricity. This was reiterated by the prime ministers of the two countries at the official inauguration of the Mushishito Rukarara 5 power plant in Kibirizi sector of Nyamagabe district. We have more.
The inauguration ceremony of Mushishito Rukara 5's hydroelectric power plant was officially attended by the Prime Minister of Rwanda, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, and the Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius, Pravind Kumar Jugnauth. While officially inaugurating the dam, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente pointed out that it is going to support the government's program of providing electricity to everyone around the country.
I'm very pleased to join you today to inaugurate the Mushishito Rukarara hydropower plant, representing His Excellency Paul Kagame, the President of the Republic of Rwanda. Thank you for being here, Honorable Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius. Your presence, Mr. Prime Minister, is yet another indicator of your country's commitment to the excellent relationship between the two countries. Thank you very much for the kind remarks. And indeed, Rwanda and Mauritius, we share commitments. I'm confident that we will continue to strengthen this partnership and advance greater development of our people. Let me now congratulate Omni Hydro Limited for this impressive project, a project consistent with Rwanda's goals and ambitions. This investment is key. It advances our target of achieving universal access to electricity by 2024. It also contributes to the 7th Sustainable Development Goal of ensuring access to affordable and clean energy.
The dam was built by investors in Mauritius. The Prime Minister of the Republic of Mauritius, Honorable Pravind Kumar Jugnauth, first thanked the President of Rwanda, His Excellency Paul Kagame, for his continued commitment to the development of the people and Africa as well. He stressed that the two countries will continue to work together on development projects that brings about change to the lives of Africans.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mauritius and Rwanda share the same commitment, and we are both determined to facilitate and deliver access to clean, safer, reliable, and affordable energy for our people, including sustainable electricity through both traditional and creative methods. African countries need to meet fast-growing energy demands and extend modern energy services to more communities, while also improving people's health and ensuring long-term sustainability. Experts believe that our continent could meet nearly a quarter of its energy needs through the use of indigenous, clean, and renewable energy by 2030. I am pleased to learn that, like Mauritius, Rwanda has set ambitious goal to increase access for its citizens to reliable electricity through an integrated model that includes both on-grid and off-grid components. The private sector has a key role to play in this model, which is delivering results with respect to bringing sustainable, climate-friendly hydroelectricity to Rwanda. I am also happy to note that around 55% of Rwanda's energy generation mix is from renewable sources, the main one being by far hydropower. I am therefore very proud of the contribution of a Mauritian company, Omnicane, through its sister firm, Omni Hydro, over the past few years to complete the Mushishito Rukarara V hydropower plant and reach full commercial operation, and pretty soon, from what we heard from the chairperson and you.
It's been 5 years while building this dam. 120 households around it have access to electricity now, and some of the builders say it benefited them. The Prime Minister, Dr. Edouard Ngirente, called on the residents to take good care of the dam so that the beneficiaries can generate electricity, but also assured others who don't have yet access to electricity that not later than 2024, everyone will have access to electricity. Mushishito Rukara's 5 complete hydroelectric dam costed 32 billion Rwandan francs. It will provide 5 megawatt, which will give power to at least 175,000 households. It is expected that in 20 years, the dam will generate profits for investors who have built it and will later be handed to the government of Rwanda.
On Sunday, Rwandans that live in the United Arab Emirates and their friends commemorated for the 28th time the genocide perpetrated against the Tutsi in 1994. It was a ceremony that was organized by the Embassy of Rwanda in that country and was held in the capital city, Abu Dhabi.
After prayers and a minute of remembrance dedicated to the victims of the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, some Rwandans and friends of Rwanda that live in the country denounced the genocide against the Tutsi and those who planned and implemented it. Mukairanga Kaitere Pauline, a survivor of the genocide against the Tutsi, shared her testimony and the struggles she went through after losing her family that lived in Kibuye in the western province.
All of my uncles, they were too many. Were all killed in the stadium of Gatwaro. Their houses were destroyed. No one. On the road back, because I had to walk 20 miles, there were body and bodies, people who were killed near the Lake Kivu, everywhere. After Mataba, I decided to go to my house to see if my mom was there. Everything destroyed. I couldn't recognize my house.
Khalid al-Rashid, an official in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, pointed out that his country will keep on cooperating with Rwanda to fight for justice and human rights.
I join you today to honor and remember those who lost their life in the genocide and show solidarity with the survivor who lost their family and friend during the genocide. We stand today in solidarity with the people of Rwanda in the hardest period in their history, which was caused by hate speech, discrimination, racism, and incitement to violence, and discrimination that threatened the values of human rights, social stability, and societal peace.
Rwanda's ambassador to the United Arab Emirates, Emmanuel Hategeka, noted that although Rwanda has gone through hard times, patriotic Rwandans rebuilt it based on self-reliance and from their culture.
Post the 1994 genocide against the Tutsi, Rwandans chose the path of reconciliation to forge a new beginning while ensuring that all those who committed the genocide do face justice. Rwanda's traditional courts, called Gacaca, tried close to 2 million cases in 10 years, starting from 2002.
In 2015, Rwanda opened its embassy in the United Arab Emirates in the capital city of Abu Dhabi and has its consulate in the city of Dubai. In 2018, the United Arab Emirates relocated its embassy in Kigali from Kampala in Uganda. Olive Nete, RTV News.
On behalf of the entire news and technical team that made it happen, many thanks for being with us on this particular edition of Rwanda Television News and whatever we've filed for you throughout this week. And up until next time, my name stays Sam Kalisa. Stay safe and have a fruitful week ahead. Goodbye.